my name is Horace Jones, the Game Changer, and my main structure that I focus on is fitness, nutrition and well-being.
My name's Akil, Coach Akil. I suppose I've got two hats. I do daytime job, community development, youth worker, mentor, youth mentor, and I'm also personal trainer, boxing coach in the community.
So my name is Jay Price and my occupation is personal trainer, duty manager of a gym and bodybuilder, maybe, if you want to class that as.
From the age of about 13, 14, I did boxing, did amateur boxing, and did that for, well, non-stop really, until I turned professional in the 20s. So I've always trained to quite a high level. So yeah, I've always been active, always been fit. Just do a lot of running, there's a lot of gym work, and actually going out and fighting up and down the country, so yeah.
I think I've been physical active from school, but I think in your younger days you don't really take it as a big thing. I think as you get older you realise how important it is. So I think, yeah, I've been a very physical person from, the age, I would say 9, 10, 11, 12. But as I got into my late 30s, I realised how important it was to try and keep my mind and my body fit as possible.
As a kid, I used to always be into sport and stuff like that, especially from school. It was probably when my mum passed away in 2010, and then I was like kind of lost for what I wanted to do with myself and my life in a sense. And I had a friend at the time who was just literally finished his level 2 qualification, and he was like raving on about how much he enjoyed it and all of this aspects and stuff like that. And he was like, listen, I know you need something to do with yourself, and your mum wouldn't want you to sit down and just be wallowing, just doing something. And it's like, obviously, like, it's not about just signing on or just doing a road thing and all of that. It's like, you want to be making some legit money and that, and doing something that helps people.
I suppose I've always been interested in fitness. I think I can recognise parts of my life where I wasn't involved in fitness and health, and my general health and well-being was down. So I suppose I use exercise as a means to balance me. By keeping fit and training, it just gives me focus. I get a lot of endorphins, keeps me happy, keeps me balanced. Get up in the morning, do my thing, prayers, straight to the gym, work out, minimum hour, and that sets me up for the day. So now it's part of my lifestyle.
Well, again, it's the concept of understanding how the flow is of life itself. If your body's fit, your mind's fit, it means that you don't get sick as much, and also it gives you more energy. Understand? So for me, it's all about being able to, deal with tasks ahead on a day-to-day basis, and being able to be physical and mentally fit for these tasks ahead.
There's this old adage that as you get older, you do less. That's nonsense. If you put your body through pressure, you work out on a regular basis, your body will work for you, and everything will continue working as it should do, and it'll keep you young looking, keep you active.
Better for your joints, your muscles, your skin, your heart, your organs, like all of those aspects, from exercising, eating healthy, like getting more sleep. Like just changing those little things and doing those little things regularly can improve your body physically and externally and internally.
Well, as a personal trainer, what your job is to give that person what they want, okay? Or if that is unrealistic, give them what they need, more so, okay? So if someone comes to you and tells you that, okay, I want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they're looking like giant haystacks, for those people that are too young will know what giant haystacks is big that, but it's about breaking that down to them so that they can achieve that realistically.
Well, I think one of the main things I always say to people, I can't help you unless you want to be helped. You know, it's like I can give you all the tools that I have possible. Unless you want to be helped, there's nothing I can do.
For every personal trainer, you want to know as much as you can about your client to help you write probably the best program for them, to write them the best nutritional plan, to know how to speak to them and treat them in each session to get and motivate the best out of them. You gotta learn how to, as you get better in the job, to read people and understand which person you can be or drill sergeant with, or which person you can kind of like be a little bit soft and I call it preschool teacher, and they're like, come on and let's go and we do this. It's the way, it's not sarcasm, but it's still positive mental pushing them, but you're still pushing them with smaller incentives as to someone who you know you can just give a full-on beasting to and will actually come and want a full-on beasting, and you can give that to them.
There was a saying, when you're ready, the teacher will appear. So it's like, you know, there's only so much things I'm going to say to you. If you're not responding to that, then I see it as I'm going to move on. Now, like I said, when you're ready, then I can re-address it and I can push on. When that person's ready, they'll come to you.
How do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant? You've got an elephant here now, you've got to eat it. How do you eat it? Do you put it all in your mouth, all at once, and choke? Or do you take one bite at a time? And that's what it is. It's just about breaking it down into manageable chunks that they see as realistic. Give them the small gains. And when people have small gains, naturally they're inclined to want more gains. It's about understanding that person and where they're at in terms of their mindset. And I'm not going to unduly overload someone with something that they can't handle, because that's a roadmap to failure. What I am going to do, I'm going to work with them wherever they are, and I'm going to push them, because you've got to take them out of the comfort zone to achieve what they want to achieve. But once people start to see progress, then that mindset opens up and you can push them a bit further.
Well, nutrition is a massive one. I think most of our lives we've been lied to about how we see food. We've been lied to in a way to think some things that we thought were good for us are not necessarily good for us.
Whatever community you come from, we'll all have our own cultural diet.
We approach diet culture just like we approach kind of most things, and that we have see it as something that we openly want to talk about and discuss amongst our friends and help out each other, and everyone wants to listen and that, or it's a big no-no, it's a taboo, it's a negative thing.
BAME communities tend to be from hard-working backgrounds, okay? So our diets will be high in carbohydrates. So if you talk about people from the Caribbean, rice carbohydrates, powdered bread carbohydrates, bun carbohydrates, yam carbohydrates, potato carbohydrates. We'll have a lot of that in our diet, which in Jamaica's fine. If you talk about the Indian subcontinent, you've got rice, again, you've got roti, you've got curries and lots of oils, all high carbohydrates. You've got the Middle East, again, you've got things like couscous, you've got pasta, you've got spaghetti, high carbs. Now in them countries it's great because the terrain is different, you've got a lot of heat there which is burning calories, you're doing a lot of work, you've got rugged terrain, so naturally you're going to burn them calories, that's why it's there.
You've got to listen to basically your heart and basically what your heart's telling you sometimes. In indulging in food that you know in your mind is bad for you, it's up to you to kind of like switch that thought off in your brain, because as much as we know certain things, again, it's up to the individual to switch off that noise in our head to say, yeah, I need this, I need more of this, I need to eat more of this, and just work on small things.
And it's not just black people, I think it's like people in general, like with every aspect, but with health definitely. Like everyone's like, oh, you should only be plant-based, or you should only do this, or you should only do that. Like, let people make their own decisions for themselves. Let them read up on whatever. Like, some people may want a mixture. Some people may want to do 3 days plant-based, 2 days pescatarian, or 3 days plant-based, 1 day pescatarian, 1 day they want to box down a Sunday chicken in it. Like, let the person be them in it. Like, there is no wrong or right at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the main goal is you want to help each other as a community get better. And the main things that we suffer with in our community, we don't address.
But the problem is when we migrate to different climates, different areas, we don't have the same factors impacting on us. So here in the UK, we're here. We're not walking up hills. We haven't got the sun beating down on us, burning them calories. we're sat in our cars or in our offices all day, we're still eating the same food, we're still eating the same amount of calories, but we're not using them. So what happens is we've got a surplus of calories in our body. Now, with carbohydrates, the minute you eat too many, they turn to fat as storage, so they're there when we need them. And over a period of time, that just develops, and then we develop all these issues around having too much weight on us.
Like high blood pressure, high cholesterol and stuff like that, because we also know that we also have other inbuilt diseases and illnesses that only affect our community, like sickle cell and stuff like that, and diabetes, and those are the things, because they only affect our community in a higher rate, and that it's like you either got it, and if you've got it, you know all about it, and then you live a certain way, and everyone around you, oh, don't put out too much of this or that for this person, because they're this and they're that, and it's kind of like a crutch. The reason why we have got high blood pressure, and the big elephant in the room is the high blood pressure comes from all the seasoning we put on our food. And I'm not saying that we must eat bland food, and I don't want the torches to be outside my house tomorrow and stuff like that, but I'm saying is just be mindful of what you're doing, because there is no measurements with us, like, and that's the problem with us. We do everything with full excess or none at all. and that's the thing. We gotta learn how to control and do things in a controlled environment, and then that will progress us into having better health and being open with our health and talking about our health.
Like, you know that greens are good for you. You know that chocolate's not good for you. You know that too much sugar's not good for you. You know too much salt's not good for you. So everything is in moderation, you know. And it's up to you as a person to say, okay then, right, I want to make that change, I want to make that leap. I'm going to start working on it on a day-to-day basis. Well, put it this way, when you say a balanced diet, you've got to look at things as the world itself. Everything in the world is balanced. Yeah? The stars come up at a certain time. The tide goes in and out at a certain time. Yeah? Night comes, day comes, you know, everything is balanced. So if you ain't got a balanced diet, it's only a matter of time before your body starts shutting down. So whether it's the tiredness, whether it's the lack of energy, whether it's your bodily function stopping, whether it's the diseases, all these things will start reappearing. And like they say, nothing happens overnight. It's the constant thing of you making them wrong decisions, where you wake up one morning and this is happening. A lot of us thinking, oh, how's it feeling like this? Well, you've been living a lifestyle like this for a number of years, and now it's starting to affect you. So like I said, nothing happens overnight.
For some people, there will always be a mental barrier, and there will always be a mental wall, and then it's then identifying what that mental wall is, because 9 times out of 10 that mental wall probably isn't something to actually do with fitness. It's probably something from another related trauma, but then that trauma can be related into the fitness area, because then that's where they feel they're most under light, under judgment. So then that's why it makes them have a negative portrayal of going into fitness. And then once you have that negative portrayal of going into fitness, because stress plays a massive role on how our body fat and how our body controls its weight and stuff like that, the more you're going to stress about it, the more weight you're going to put on. So if you're stressing about weight, the more weight you will put on and stuff like that. So,
well, the signs, sometimes it could be things like being insecure, like they no longer want to do the things that they were doing yesterday. They want to stay in more, they don't want to socialise, they don't want to talk. These are the first signs that you might start seeing. Might have been an outgoing person, now they're an in-person. Might have been a well-spoken person, now they're not. Characteristics about that person, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves. The main things I'll say to people is just giving that person that shoulder to let them know that I'm there for you. I always say it takes nothing to pick up the phone and say, how you doing? You know what I mean? Or a text, you know, so it's that minute second that you do sometimes can change that person's life or can help that person. Sometimes try not to make it about you. try not to make it about you. Try and make it about that person. That person sometimes they might not feel wanted or loved or cared, and sometimes you gotta kind of like dismiss yourself and try and say, okay, then how can I uplift or inspire or even motivate this person? But we've got to take ourselves out of the mind frame and see what's going on with them in their headspace.
Also, that's one of the problems is with people is that we see this change, things change. Change is difficult for most people, okay? And people are fearful of change because it's the unknown, and people are afraid of the unknown. So we build this big image of change and being afraid of it. So if you want to make a change, but you've made it into this big monster that you can't see the outcome that you're trying to achieve, then the likelihood is that you're going to fail. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to make, as a gym practitioner, a fitness practitioner, what I have to do is make the outcome more visible than the challenges. And I want to look like, I don't know who's the latest Insta, whether it is Beyonce. Okay, yeah, Beyonce. Yeah. Now, everything's possible, but it's got to be realistic. So I'll look at what's realistic, and I will set a plan for them, which, again, it shows short-term gains. Because once you start to get gains, you see that you've lost a dress size in 2 weeks, you're going to say, wow, that's amazing. I didn't think I could do that. You know what? I'm enjoying this. Let me go to the next level. And then the next stage, and then the next stage, and the next stage. Whereas if we just focus on, you know what? I want to look like that, but I'm looking like this now. That challenge is too big. So we give them the small wins, and then that becomes more visible, and then you look at the challenges less. And if you can always see where you're heading to, your end destination, and that's clear and apparent, then it's easier to make it. So it's about, a lot of times I do a lot of visualization with people about who they want to be and what they want to look like, what it's going to feel like, how it's going to resonate with them, how other people are going to respond to them. When people can visualize that, they get this warm feeling inside here, because the mind can't differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. It's the same. So you will have the same feeling. If you've ever been in a roller coaster and I took you through a visualization of going down the roller coaster, you will start to feel the same emotions and feelings, palpitations, sweat that you had when you first went on it, because your body can't differentiate. So if I can create that image in your mind, you can see that, you can feel it, you can touch it, you can taste it, it's a lot easier to achieve.
Well, like I was saying before, the mind is a big, powerful muscle. Okay, so the concept was, one of the things I always start with in the morning is start with a good amount of good input. So, for example, I won't look at my messages until a certain time of the day. Okay, I give myself 15 minutes every single morning of listening to something uplifting. Whether it's uplifting music, uplifting melody, or an uplifting inspirational speaker. I've got to get my mind right for the day. It's a massive belief thing that you've got to rewire your mind. Oh, it's easier for us to think negative. It's easier for us to say something negative. So now we've got to retrain our minds. Also, again, the food has to be a live food that gets into my body, which also goes into my belly, which also affects my mind. Okay. Then again, I was saying to you before about time. You got to understand what, when we watch TV and we do certain things, that affects us. When we're on social media, that affects us. So now we've got to reprogram ourselves. So everything takes time. You can change, I can change. I call myself the game changer, because I say to myself, we're all game changers. But we also probably need that coach or that mentor to help us see that greatness inside us. But we also have to understand everything takes a bit of time.
Try and analyze what it actually is that you are struggling with, and find someone you can confide in and talk to them about this. Most people with mental problems don't really want to talk about their mental problems, or feel like they're burdening people with their mental problems. But really and truthfully, most people around them can see that someone's got mental problems and want to help that person, but need that person to open up for themselves. Like, there's no real clear warning signs, because you can't say, oh, this person's now doing this, so this is the reason, or this person's now doing that, and that's the reason. But there is some common telltale ones, like the lack of appetite, the lack of social response, the lack of wanting to just be around people and communicate and stuff like that, just kind of seem like they're moping around or always in a doom and gloom. But saying that, that can also be, you can always have that person that's the polar opposite, who's all smiley and inside they're fighting the world's biggest problems. So you can't really pinpoint anything. Look at people, and if you should know the people you're around, and you should know, and just sometimes you just have to ask, and really ask, not just be like, are you okay? Like when you see someone you go, are you all right? And they're like, yeah, I'm fine. That's not a real asking someone if are they okay, you know, like having a conversation with them, talking to them for 5-10 minutes, and then going, nah, but on a real, like, are you all right? How's things? Are you okay? And make sure you let them know, like, real deep down, are you all right? How are you feeling? Is there anything on your mind? Is there anything you want to talk about? I'm open to listen, you know, if you just want to speak. Being genuine with it like that and asking people those questions sometimes.
Now, I remember there was an advertising campaign that if someone breaks the leg, everyone's there to support them. With mental health, people tend to, it's kind of taboo and people don't know what to do with it. Before getting to that stage of someone having mental health and having to recognise it, having that connection with people, so you're with your family, with your friends, have that connection with people so that you know who they are and how they tick. And that way, when something untoward happens and it's easy to spot, well actually, that's a bit off. Do you know what I'm saying? So therefore you're looking for these things which changes in who they are and how they act and how they respond. And it's about just being aware of that. The important thing is always be there so you can speak with people, so that people are able to, no matter what's going on, come and speak with that, with you, whether it's family members, work colleagues, kids especially, always have that connection. And even if having that connection might be that they may be doing things that you don't particularly like or you don't particularly agree with, but by keeping that connection, that's keeping them coming to you with their problems, so that you're always in a position of trust, so you're always in a position to help. When you break that connection, it's a lot more difficult to do it, because then people feel that they can't trust it, they can't come to you, therefore they're going to keep that in and going to hold it in. And that's where problems arise, when people just internalise stuff because they don't feel that they can go and talk, or they feel that they're going to be judged, or they feel that people are going to react in a certain way. So it's always trying to have that transparency and always try to be open with people.
The best thing is to start in your house. Most of us have got a handheld device. You've got YouTube on, touch of the button. Put in, how do I get fit? Put in, what's the best things to do?
I always hear this as being in the gym, as much as I'm in the gym. Oh, I don't want to go around there because I'm too big, or oh, I don't want to do this because I'm too big, or I can't do that because I'm too unfit, and this, or people are going to watch me. But if you just walk around the gym, no one will look at you. Like, no one's paying attention to you. Nobody cares, because everybody's there to do their own thing. Everybody's there for a certain time frame, whether it be an hour, 2 hours, an hour and a half, whether it be I've just finished work and I'm doing this, whether I'm on my lunch break and I'm doing this, whether I've got work, so I've got to quickly get this, go home, shower, eat, and then get whatever. Everyone's got an agenda.
What I'd always advise is to put yourself in the environment where people do that, because they say that you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're spending time with people that ain't about that, then the less likelihood is that you're not going to be about that either, because they're going to find ways to convince you not to do it.
But if you just get in the gym, come in, do your thing, jump on the treadmill, whatever. If you don't know what you're doing, ask a professional for help, and then get that help from a professional, and then just go on and just do your thing with a mission, goal, and a plan. And have your goal, have your plan, and just focus on your goal and your plan, and just keep doing it. And as I really assure you, no one will bother you at all.
Sometimes maybe it's like even getting a personal trainer to come around to your house. If you can't afford a personal trainer, again, YouTube or social media is the best platform that you can use to get yourself fit in the house.
If you've got something positive to aim for, it's a lot easier to go towards, whereas if you're always looking at the negative, then the likelihood is that you'll always be able to talk yourself out of what you want to do. And the other side of it is being aware of who you are as well, and what you want, and listening to your self-talk. Everyone has self-talk, And that self-talk can either be positive or it can be negative.
So find a friend that you feel comfortable with and pally with that friend. You know, because sometimes if you do things together as a group or somebody else, it just takes away that little bit off the edge. So I always say is, you know, sometimes find that person that you want to do and they want to do the same thing.
And if you find that your self-talk is always convincing you not to do stuff that you want to do, then you need to look at how you talk to yourself and what you speak to yourself. And maybe it's about going to speak with someone, get yourself a coach, or, you know what, taking the plunge and saying, right, I know I want to do this, I know I'm going to be negative about it, but you know what, I'm going to commit myself, I'm going to buy a personal trainer for 3 months so that I'm committed and I've got no choice then but to do it because I've paid it.
Facebook Marketplace is about start looking on the Facebook Marketplace, see if you can buy some second-hand gym equipment. You can go to a Home Bargain and buy a kettlebell. So, like, fitness apparatus is everywhere if you're looking for it and if you want to invest in it. Even if you can only afford a pair of 6 kg dumbbells and you know that you can get around doing 36s, then yo, make those 6s with a bit of imagination and some rubber bands feel like 36s. Like, do 1,000 reps then, and then I guarantee you they'll feel like doing 30 reps, 50 reps with the 36s. Be creative, innit? And then that's how you can always get around it. Use creativity. I think as people, we surely all don't lack is creativity. We can find it when it comes to wanting to do TikToks and all of that, so why can't we find creativity for anything else? Just put it in the right place.
I don't think it is, but, and even if it is, it's how, again, it's all about mindset, how you talk to yourself. Because if you talk to yourself and say, you know what, can I afford to do this? That's one question, and you'll probably come up with a negative answer. Or if you can say, you know what, can I afford not to do this? Okay, so for me, not training, I know where that takes you. It takes you to inactivity, weight gain, higher increase of heart disease, higher increase of illnesses, less active. It's not even a consideration. So for me, it's about how you again, it's how you speak to yourself, how you talk to yourself, and what motivates. Find what motivates you, and use that. You can exercise for free. You can exercise for free. You don't. There's stuff on YouTube. I'm sure if you call your friends, you know, when you want to work out, I'm sure there's lots of places in the community where you can go and exercise for free. It doesn't cost you a penny or for minimal cost. Okay. The issue is this: do you want it?
So, like, if you think about it, if you're a person that has 2 takeaways a week, your takeaways are costing you, because now what the average takeaway is going to set you back around £20, 20, like, depends. Say one person, we're looking around about anywhere between £15 to £20. If there's 2 people in your household or more, you're looking at £25 upwards. Yeah. So if you're having takeaway, once a week, maybe twice a week, that's even on average once a week, that's probably £100 in a month. The average gym membership's £25 a month. Telling me you couldn't sacrifice one night's takeaway.
Try and swap sometimes a bad habit for a good habit. Try and have a balance. So for example, I don't know, say you smoke, which is, others might say it's a bad habit, okay? So you say, okay, then I smoke. So every time I smoke a cigarette, I'm gonna go for a walk. Or every time I eat chocolate, I'm gonna do this. So it's all about swapping habits.
Do you know what? End of the day, yeah, it's whatever floats your boat. If you're a person that smokes and doesn't eat healthy and doesn't exercise, but then you start to exercise, that's better than where you were before. It's not about being this perfect thing that, okay, I'm gonna start gym, right, cut everything out, and I'm going to be this perfect guy who does everything that I'm supposed to do. It doesn't work like that. It's about taking small steps and taking steps that are manageable. Most people, if you say to them, right, you know what, you're going to have to do this is what you need to achieve, unless they've got the right motivation. So let's say go to the doctor and the doctor says, right, unless you exercise, you're going to die. That's normally a good motivation for people. But in most people, that's not the case. So what will happen is okay, they say that they recognise they need to make some changes. So rather than making these big, huge changes, do small things that you can manage, that you can handle. And again, it's that idea that once you do something new and you get used to it, you get this release of endorphins, which actually encourages you to do more. and then it's a step-by-step process. But I would always say it's always good to have someone that you're accountable to so that you can push yourself. And you know what, it doesn't matter if you fall off, if you have a bad day. Everyone has a bad day, but you just draw a line under it, carry on. So like I'm on a program where I'm supposed to eat a certain amount of calories per day and train X amount. You know what, some days I say, you know what, I can't be bothered. I'll go and buy pizza and I'll eat cake and I'll drink fizzy pop. But the next day, back on. If you can swap the bad habits for good habits and have the bad habits as an occasional thing, as opposed to the good habits being an occasional thing, then you're always on to a win.
The workout program, why I think it's a good idea, it's about a community and people coming together. There is nothing easier than working with people. Working with people that's going through maybe the same issues that you're going through, and also being a part of a group that can give you the answers that you might be searching for, because there's nothing better than having people around you as a help mechanism. You know, someone that you can pick up that phone and talk to, or someone that you can email, or someone you can have a Zoom meeting with. And it's all about being around people that have your best interests at heart. And I think this program could be a thing for everyone to, you know, link into and find, whether it's that fitness person they want to talk, they want to be, or whether it's that motivational person they want to be, or whether it's that nutrition person they want to see. So I think it's having an umbrella with all these people underneath that you can have at top of a button that can give you the help that you need as an individual or as a group of people. And there is nothing better that, once again, to have people that you might even know and see on a day-to-day basis. And that's the beautiest thing, is to see somebody that you know that's doing something. Oh, well, I know him, so then it's easier for me to talk to that person because I know him. That person's in my community, or my auntie knows him, or cousin knows him. And that is the beauty, because sometimes when we watch TV and we see that person, we're like, well, I don't really know him, I don't really know you, so, you know, I can't relate to you. So the thing about having a program where, you know, you can see a smiling face that you know sometimes can give you that bit more of that embracement of making you change and wanting to change. Especially if you see somebody and you think, well, that person was like me a couple of years ago, or that person was in a dark place like me. Now I can see them shining, you know, so that makes me want to talk to that person more, or get information or advice of that person more. So I would say definitely it's a good program to tap into, guys, and share ideas.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So Coach Shaquille here with my man Daniel from the Workout program. There's one thing you get from this talk. You know what? Even if you don't join a gym, if you don't go and run a marathon, or you go and do ultramarathon, you swim the Atlantic, the one thing to take from this is that join this community, because what will happen is that you'll see positivity around exercise, you'll see people with stories, you'll see people with stories similar to yours, like yours, the same as yours, worse than yours, that have actually made small changes which have had a massive impact on their life. Be amongst that community and help them to rub off onto you so you can start to make changes.
So, with this whole podcast, with this whole interview, working to work out, I think is a massive influential project that is very good to be behind and help out with and be asked to help out with, because I do think it's something really important, not only to me, but important to us as a community, as the quote, we'll call it a BAME community, but as a community of people of colour, fitness and taking our fitness and our health is something that we really should take important. So this whole working to workout program and everything they're doing and all the information they're going to be putting out is something that I really support, and I would like everyone to get along and support. And it's something I really believe in, and I think you should believe into it too. And just have a look at it, man, and just listen and give it a try, and hopefully we can help each other and live for longer, man. Bless.